Welcome back to another episode of the BAP with yours truly, Bryan Rosevear, and the legend Ryan Perrock. Hi, pal.
Hey, cuz.
On today's show, we have quite a lot of news, actually. We reveal the most on-time airline in the world, another problem for the Boeing 737 MAX, the reason behind the pilot shortage being put on ice, BA cabin crew a slip and nip.
I'm looking forward to that segment.
Qatar showcases AI cabin crew, how the JetBlue and Spirit deal destroyed both airlines, 2 plane crashes this past week, Dublin Airport has been fined 10.1 million euros, heavy rains in Darwin, and forget what we told you about buying shares in Joby, Volocopter and Autoflight. Airbus has revealed the CityAirbus NextGen eVTOL aircraft prototype. Should we jump into it?
Interesting.
Should we start with a slip nip?
Yeah.
Yeah, what that's all about is British Airways. They were making adjustments to its recently introduced uniform by designer Oswald Boateng due to some garments not meeting expectations. The uniform rollout faced significant delays, but even after extra time for refinement, the reception has been mixed among staff and passengers. So changes are already in progress. So they put out a crew notice to say, look, these blouses and these shirts that the cabin crew are wearing are actually see-through. So, please wear a suitable undergarments to cover. To which the union then replied to say, how can you in 224 tell cabin crew what type of underwear they should wear? So, yeah.
I think it's funny because wasn't it British Airways was the first airline to roll out this new woke thing? Where
I love it when woke stuff fails.
Yeah, and it's completely blowing up on them. Because captains were now, if you're a man, allowed to wear a dress, vice versa. And now they're offended if they can see a bit of nip.
Yeah, when these sort of gender things sort of fail, it's quite funny. But anyway, they put in all this effort for the new uniform, and it's, long story short, it's a stuffer.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I wouldn't mind the in-flight.
You end on the slip nip.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Do you want to know who the most on-time airline in the world is?
I have a fair idea who that might be, but let you blast it out.
Well, there it is.
There we go. No surprises.
Fly Safair is the most on-time airline in the world. That's legit.
Can you believe it? Followed
by Fuji, Oman Air, Caribbean Airlines, Iberia, Philippine Airlines, Austrian, ITA, Air Europa, and Qatar.
So not are we, as South Africans, only dominating in rugby
and UFC
in the podcast world. Now,
well done, Fly Safair. Fly Safair are pretty amazing. I mean, if you have a look here, they do a huge amount of flights too. A lot of the airlines below them, lower number of flights. So 94.10%. So that's it's quite remarkable. And then 5,034 flights that this was taken over.
It's no small feat to be able to pull that off.
No, it's not.
I mean, in a country like ours where we have all these challenges.
Yeah, with all the difficulties,
They still pull that off. That's a serious pat on the back to everyone that works in that whole entire airline, because that's a group effort.
That is, It's not,
well
it can't be narrowed down to one department. That's a real team effort, as you say. So well done, Fly Safair. It's still the airline of choice,
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Let's be honest. It really is the airline of choice to 9 out of 10 South Africans that you bump into. Where are you going? Durban. Who are you going with? Fly Safi.
Yeah.
It's like standard.
I have some friends that have just recently joined the airline to fly, and they've been there a couple of weeks, and they said so far it's actually really, really cool. It's professional yet somewhat relaxed at the same time. So.
Well, that's the vibe I get from them. I've said this to you before, just in private. Like whenever we've had dealings, it's like they're super professional, but there's been no egos and just a bunch of guys that are getting the job done.
I can imagine that's a really lacquer environment to work in.
I think so. It's probably one of the better. Look, I know they work hard, and so is everyone these days. But yeah,
that's important.
It is.
Yeah.
Well done.
Good job.
Legends. Right. So my share, I got a message from my mate in Hong Kong, Carl. He says, how's those Boeing shares doing, bro? Because
this is another one of those episodes where you're full of
advice.
Financial advice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I actually read this story when I was prepping for this episode, and I thought, no, man, this is one of these sort of bullshit things that's popped up along the way.
Yeah.
But it's not. NTSB is investigating a United Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 that experienced stuck rudder pedals after landing with no injuries reported. Boeing worked with United to resolve the issue by replacing 3 parts, and this was the only report of such an issue on the MAX fleet. The captain used alternative means of controls, blah, blah, blah. But it's another failure of another critical system that could potentially have been, a bit more dangerous had there could have been a wet runway, a heavy crosswind, all sorts of things. And anyway, everything is good. But now you wonder, it's in the news, it's a MAX, the FAA are going to have to do something about it, and you know that they're going to.
Yeah.
So where does that leave the MAX? I mean, it was the last problem was the last chance. Let's face it. I mean, it was, and now if this is made bigger, so we'll see in the news if it pops up that there is an investigation and they are taking this seriously, or if it's done the political way where it's sort of swept under the rug. Let's not talk about this, because if it does get out and we make a bigger thing than we need to, then there's going to be problems for the MAX going forward, full stop.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. But I mean, if your financial strategy is, when it comes to buying shares, if you're on like the buy low, sell high side of the strategy, now might be the time for you to buy.
Well, I thought that was the case when the door fell off, but now all sorts of other cucks happening. So now it's gone down even more.
Shit.
Yeah. So you never know. You never know. Right. It wasn't last week. It was when did we pod? On Monday. Yes. Tuesday. We spoke about Southwest. They have slowed down their pilot hire, and you and I were on a high horse because how couldn't this happen?
Yeah.
And it's like...
and? We had some comments.
No, but they answered the question for us, because United are doing the same thing. United is adjusting its pilot hiring plans. And why? It's due to Boeing's ongoing aircraft certification and manufacturing delays. New hire classes will be paused in May and June with a plan to resume them in July. United remains committed to growth, but acknowledges that delays at Boeing will impact their expansion timeline. Despite these challenges, United already has 450 pilots this year and aims to hire over 800 by the end of April, prioritizing participants in United Aviate and United Military Pilot Program. And obviously Southwest is all MAX. So
there's
where
the knock-on effect of Boeing going through the challenges actually starts to ripple through the industry.
Boeing are actually pawning it now for all the pilots, because it's slowing down the whole like effect of the shortage. And let's face it, as pilots, you sort of want to see this pilot shortage thing play out a bit, because I mean, the Oaks weren't exactly treated like royalty over the pandemic, and For years and years, we've heard about this pilot shortage. Nothing ever came of it. Now there is one, but you still can't get hired because one of the biggest manufacturers in the world can't seem to produce a decent product. So I think that answers the question, and I'm pretty sure that there'll be a recovery sooner rather than later, unless again, like this whole rudder pedal issue becomes a bigger thing.
Yeah, let's hope not.
No, I hope not.
Try and stay positive.
Yeah. So we mentioned, spoke about the slip nip at BA. But, soon you might not have to worry about cabin crew at all.
Because they keep disappearing.
They keep. We'll answer. We've got some gen about that story. But Qatar has unveiled, I think if you pronounce this correctly, Sama 2.0, the world's first AR-powered virtual cabin crew.
How the hell's that going to work, dude?
Well, it obviously works on your screen type of vibe. Let's talk about it. So,
because cabin crew are there for chicken and beef. And then they're also there as well to help you in the event of an emergency.
Well, exactly. Cabin crew are there primarily for aviation safety, thereafter cabin comfort. Okay?
Yeah. So how is AI going to sort you out? Like, for example, Air Japan.
Okay,
a couple of months ago, the cabin crew were the heroes of the day there because they got
cabin crew are 9 times out of 10 the hero of the day. It's the pilots that normally
fuck it up.
Yeah. Cabin crew are critical on flight. This doesn't go on to say it's going to replace cabin crew, but whenever AI and things like this come in, companies and in this case an airline, it would be quite clever about sort of, this is what it can do for you. This is a soft rollout, and then in a few years' time it'll be, remember that AI thing we made? It's now going to replace 30% of the actual cabin crew on the flight. Like, if you don't think that's the long-term plan, then you're in cuckoo land there, because obviously that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
don't you think?
I don't know. Look,
maybe we'll get some comments on it.
Yeah, let's get some comments, because this AI thing is it's very new. It's still very scary. Mm-hmm. I do get that it's definitely going to replace a lot of functions in many industries around the world, not just aviation. But
I wouldn't have said cabin crew, though.
No.
And look, it's not, and I go back, it's not saying that. But to me, it's hinting that that's what's coming. You can't exactly rely on AI to bring you a cold Sauvignon Blanc by pushing the button there. Huh?
Yeah.
Or will you?
I don't know. Look, in a lot of ways, if your AI cabin crew member is going to interact with you on your entertainment screen, I suppose you could look at it that way. There might be that sort of interface between it. And you might get a friendlier AI than you do some cabin crew. Because let's face it, there are some cabin crew that are.
Yeah, particularly on their 6th sector of the day. And they've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning. Right. But I think this vibe is more of, good day, Ryan Parrock. Welcome to your flight A to B. What can I get you for dinner? What can I get you for breakfast the next morning? What time would you like to go to sleep? Do you want to set no wake up? It's going to be that type of.
Yeah,
I think it might be pretty cool. We'll keep an eye on it and report back.
Interesting.
JetBlue Airways and Spirit Airlines, you'll remember that there was a major merger that has been on the go for absolute ages now. The attempted merger faced opposition from the Justice Department, focusing on preventing consolidation in the airline industry. Both airlines are struggling financially post-merger attempt, with Delta Airlines strengthening its position relative to JetBlue in Boston. So what's happened there? JetBlue and Spirit are now much weaker than they were before they decided to merge, and their opposition are much stronger. So not a good situation for them there.
It's a bit swaka. I mean, they've obviously, as two individual airlines, been hedging their bets on coming together.
Exactly, planning everything,
Well, when we get together, we're going to be a lot stronger. And now they have to re-strategize.
Yeah. Yeah, so
cool.
that's an ongoing story, no doubt. I haven't heard the end of that one. A couple of plane crashes this week. Small plane crash along Interstate 40 in Nashville. Aircraft burst into flames and tragically killing all 5 people on board. Pilot reported engine and power failure before attempting an emergency landing, ultimately leading to the fatal crash behind a Costco store.
Yeah, it hasn't been a good start to the year. There's been quite a few crashes.
There has.
The last couple of months.
Wasn't 2023 was one of the safest years in aviation, no? And then right at the beginning of 2024, there was what happened in Japan and...
Yeah, there's been quite a few events already.
You're right.
Tragic one this week. It was an African-related one, but a Dash 8-300 collided midair with a 172 in Nairobi.
Yeah.
172 pilots didn't make it, but the Dash 8 managed to land back safely. But, yeah.
Not a good one.
No.
They landed at Wilson, eh?
Yeah.
It's a busy place, that.
It's very busy.
It sounds like the Dash 8 crew just heard a bit of a bang.
Yeah. Looks like the 172 connected the horizontal stabilizer of the Dash 8, so not too much damage to that area. But
Dash 8's a bit of a beast, I think.
Well, it's a bombardier, man.
Yeah.
So it's
it's a beast.
It's built real tough. It's
being a bit biased.
I could open up a whole new rabbit hole of conversation when it comes to that. But
the reality is the Dash 8 is so slow that the damage was insignificant.
Yeah, can't break on.
Yeah,
a Dash 8 in reverse. Man.
Yeah, exactly. Dublin Airport has received a fine for 10.1 million euros. I'd read this twice just to check because it does seem like a hefty fine.
Shit. For quality failures.
Yeah, for quality failures. But also received a quality of service bonus, resulting in a net penalty of 6.7 million euros. Penalties were imposed for cleanliness and information issues, as well as long security queue times. Well, geez, if they impose those same restrictions on other airlines around the world, then there'll be some big fines. I mean, it seems a bit heavy on that one.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Dublin?
No.
I'm keen to go there one day.
Yeah.
I'd love to go.
I'm sure the Guinness
exactly
tastes a lot better. It'll be cool to go watch a rugby game there.
Can you imagine?
It'll be legit. Ireland are playing in South Africa later in the year.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, so, that would be cool, actually.
It would be, yeah.
Look, we can speak about how cool it's going to be. If we're not taking our wives, we ain't going. This is not going to happen.
Yeah. Selling point would be, do you really want to go to Dublin to spend most of the time in the pub drinking Guinness?
Yeah.
I can't see that flying.
Yeah. We got some mates there in Australia's Air North. They're facing challenges due to the wet season. So they got like 2 seasons there apparently, eh?
Yeah, it's dry season or wet season.
Not summer or winter. Dry or wet. So if you are thinking of going to Oz, something to consider. Speaking of that, the guys all seem to be doing really well there.
Yeah, very
everyone.
Happy.
Not just the guys at Air North, but everywhere there.
No, I mean, we've heard a lot from Dylan and Mike, and the guys are really doing well. Flying hard. I had to joke because it said, in this article, to balance Darwin faces challenges because the wet season due to heavy rains that impacts scheduled air passenger traffic. To balance this, they rely on FIFO, fly in and fly out. And I still thought, shit, that's not FIFO in the sense that we know it.
That's funny.
But
that could be like an Australian thing.
Yeah. Fit in or fuck out.
That's what they have written underneath the visa when you rock up there.
Yeah. But no, they're making the best of it, and it's lucky to see them doing well.
Shout out to the guys there. Dylan Mulvaney and crew. Right, so let's jump into the eVTOL side, because eVTOL, you will not believe what my LinkedIn has done recently.
I'm sure.
Because
this has become a hot topic.
It's become hot.
And the story changes every week.
So I've been invited to this like major eVTOL thing in London later in the year. Yeah, I heard your comments on the podcast. want to invite you to this event. I was like, did you just listen to the whole podcast or did you get a soundbite? Because, I must say our knowledge of every week, we seem to be adding a layer on. And it's not so much adding a layer on of information to our listeners. It's like it's showing us how many layers short we were of knowledge before we should be commenting on this. But Airbus has now revealed the CityAirbus NextGen eVTOL. It's a prototype. It's showcasing a sleek design with the promise of revolutionizing advanced air mobility. The unveiling ceremony included the announcement of a new test center in Germany, blah, 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 80-kilometer range, 120 kilometers an hour speed, all for urban operations. Scheduled for market release in the second half of the decade, Airbus emphasizes its long-term commitment to advanced air mobility through ongoing investments and partnerships. So you can't just throw your money at one of these things.
No, look, I was just thinking now while you're reading that segment, if there's an organization that's going to get this right, I'm going to actually hedge my bets on Airbus.
Not Volocopter.
No, this is where I'm going to spread my risk. I'll go at Volocopter, but Airbus, come to think of it, they will get it right. Because, I mean...
Yeah, they will. They have to.
They're like the kings of autonomy. I mean, the Airbus flies itself.
True.
Pretty much. I mean, this thing's going to be pretty light, because they do have aircraft made of Tupperware.
But you know what they're going to...
And it's flying faster than the one we spoke about last week.
True, but don't you think what they are actually doing is they're eyeing out one of these existing operations that they will just buy.
Yeah, like they did with the Airbus A220.
True.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. And if you look at that design, it does seem rather similar to the Joby setup. Similar speed and everything as well.
So does that adjust your investment strategy?
I don't know. Does that make it better or worse? I'm not 100% sure. It'll be interesting to see. But look, this eVTOL space is quite interesting because everyone's just jumping on it. I think from an aviation perspective, eVTOL's like AI. It's the new thing. Yeah. You look at AI in other industries. We were talking about it earlier, having some coffee, and we said, Apple have looks like they've dropped the plans for the production of the electric vehicle, which they've been working on for ages, huge amount of money, investment in that, because they've been left behind on the AI side.
Yeah.
And they need to catch up Google and the likes and make their AI a bit better. So I think this is why this eVTOL is interesting to watch.
It's definitely going to become a thing. I mean, give it another 10, 15 years and eVTOL is going to be, I think, a very big part of the transport networks in a lot of the world's biggest cities.
Yep.
I mean, it would work really well here. I mean, our roads are pretty cut. Potholes.
Yeah,
traffic.
It would work. It would. It would be a...
we just need two-stroke eVTOLs.
Yeah. So we keep an eye on it. We'll keep reporting every week. There's some good sport this weekend.
Yes, there is.
There's F1. F1, I think it's going to tighten up a little bit. I think that it's not all doom and gloom for a spectacle. I think there's...
I hope so. Look,
it's going to happen.
It'd be nice to see Verstappen actually work for his $120 million this year, because right now he's just...
cruising.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's on actually tonight. It'll be Friday night as the qualifying, and then Saturday the race. And there's big UFC this weekend as well. UFC 299, Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera, and Dustin Poirier takes on Benoit Saint Denis, which is going to be a seriously good fight as well. So that'll be Sunday morning if you're watching it in South Africa.
Awesome.
Huh? You're gonna watch that one?
Yeah, no, always. I actually quite enjoy these fights now. It's
you're getting into it.
I am, and it's definitely it's quite cool to have something else to do on a Sunday morning now.
It is. It's actually a cool time to watch because it's earlier. It's late enough that you can you don't have to get up at like 3:00 like you did for the the boxing fights when you were a kid, you know.
Yeah.
These are a little bit later, so it works out. And the UFC is just awesome. But I was worried we weren't going to get a second episode in today, so I'm chuffed, or this week, I'm chuffed that we did. And plan is just to carry on. Thanks for all the comments that are coming in, making a big difference, enjoying it. And, you know, it's what makes this whole thing worth it. It's the connection with the people on the outside, shooting us comments, giving us a bit of stick for some stupid things we said, and also giving us a bit of gen for the coming week.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the big benefits of the 2-show system, where you're just able to keep that connection going all the time.
No, of course.
So yeah,
what
really
is cool is to be able to get into the studio a little bit more regularly when we can, because we have a good time when we're here, and it breaks up the
monotony
of the daily grind.
100%. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Bye for now.
Ciao.
Approach runway 26 left. Flow vector to the pilot, board in India.